Hello and welcome to The Public Good. This is Dejia James from Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, which unites over 365 community organizations working to build a better Buffalo. We're delighted to join you every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. on Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 a.m. You can also watch live video of every show on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ppgbuffalo. Don't forget to follow PPG on Facebook and Twitter, and of course, you can always get great information on our website, ppgbuffalo.org. Our guest today is Nekia Kemp, Executive Director of the Police Athletic League of Buffalo. She's here to discuss summer programming available for youth through Buffalo PAL all the way up to 18 years old in Western New York. With the first day of summer programming starting today, as you mentioned, we thank you for taking the time out to be with us out of your probably very busy schedule today. So may you introduce yourself and your work for everybody who may not know?
Yes, so thank you for that. Yes, I'm Nekia Kemp. I've been the executive director for the Police Athletic League of Buffalo for 7 years now.
Wow.
And I've had the opportunity to go through 7 programs. So for those folks who may not be familiar, the Police Athletic League of Buffalo is a nonprofit organization that works in partnership with the Buffalo Police Department to provide opportunities and programming for youth across the city. Mm-hmm. So it is more than just sports, although we do offer quite a few sports. We also have some educational programming, literacy programming. Our biggest partners is the City of Buffalo, of course, working in the community centers during the school year, mm-hmm. and in Buffalo Public Schools, our next largest partner, mm-hmm.
during
the school year. And then in the summer, you may see us out in the parks a lot, pretty much every day.
And how many staff do you have? Who's involved? Are there active police officers that are involved?
Yes.
Okay.
We work in partnership with the neighborhood engagement team. So some people may see them out there. They kind of dress differently. They're called NET team. So the NET team unit, which now is under our lieutenant. Who has the NET team now? Oh, Todd McAllister.
Okay.
So Lieutenant McAllister is the head of NET team. Before then was Captain Tommy Champion, who's now over at B District.
Wow.
But yes, we have a wonderful partnership with the police department. They are great. They're mentors and coaches to the youth that are in our programs.
That's amazing. It's a great legacy for the police department locally to have kind of this organization on the side that helps the community in such a way. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering how this kind of came about and where it came from and how it impacts the legacy of police locally here.
Well, a lot of people are not aware of the history, but PAL is an organization that's worldwide.
Okay.
So there are police athletic league and athletic clubs all over the world.
Wow.
So we have a Niagara PAL that's here locally. There's New York City PAL. There's Detroit PAL. So there's many chapters all around. And a lot of the programs take place either in a nonprofit 501c3 space, mm-hmm. or they are divisions of the police department, which is where Buffalo PAL kind of started, mm-hmm. in a division as the police department, mm-hmm. in a division under the police department. Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening over the years in 1997 when they became a 501c3, it was because they wanted to continue to raise money and funds to support youth programming.
Yeah.
So the city at that time was kind of going through a struggle. Mayor Masiello was an avid basketball player and also a PAL kid, and thought to himself, I really want to invest in this. The only way to keep this program going, mm-hmm. is because, back in the day, police used to walk the beat. You had your community officers. They knew everybody's name. Mm-hmm. And then it switched a little bit. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't such an emphasis on community policing.
Yeah.
And now we've kind of gone back to that. But, of course, the funding is it's very difficult to keep youth programs, just like senior programs,
of course.
In play. And so becoming a 501c3 gave us an opportunity to raise money, apply for grants and funding, to be able to support the youth in the community. So that's kind of how it started. Mm-hmm. Mayor Brown resurrected it around 16 years ago. He became the chairman of the board, and it became his main youth initiative, working with the city of Buffalo and having a partnership to make sure that kids have safe places to go in community centers. So those 6 centers are still operating throughout the school year and during the summer. Mm-hmm. So again, a safe haven for kids to go. And
I want to get into the safe haven piece. I have some other questions I want to ask, but I I find it interesting now because I'm finding a lot of youth don't have places to go necessarily as much as back in the day. I know when I was younger, I could go to the mall, I could go to the skate rink, but a lot of these places have closed or have age limits. You can't really go to the mall if you're underage anymore without a parent or an adult.
Right.
How important is it for youth to have those recreational spaces so that they don't find other alternatives or get into trouble?
It is very important. We have the opportunity to be one of around, I think there's 65 sites, work sites. And we were talking about the Mayor's Summer Internship Program before we kind of started talking.
Yeah.
And that gave teenagers an opportunity to earn their own money.
Right.
But it gave them a place to go, a sense of purpose, and something to do.
Right.
And so from 14 to 18, we employ about 40 kids at our site this summer, which could reach by the end of the week 60 to 70.
Wow.
We've taken quite a few kids, especially 14 and 15-year-olds, as their first work experience.
That's good.
So being able to earn money is huge. The other thing is being able to have a safe place to go in a community center. So the City of Buffalo community centers are open till 10 p.m. during the school year. So they can come after school. They have an opportunity. It's just like a drop-in center and give them an opportunity to kind of hang out, be together, but also offer some structured programs, which is great, which is what we want our kids to do. I think the biggest thing in the Buffalo community is knowing what's out there. Because there's lots of stuff.
Right.
There's lots of, it's like anyone who works with youth, we all know that there's tons of stuff for kids to do. But you always hear, there's nothing for kids to do.
Exactly.
But there's always something. We work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So our basketball leagues operate 7 days a week. We have girls basketball, boys basketball. We have baseball.
And what ages are those for?
So really, we run 8U all the way up.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with basketball terms, we start off with the little ones and go all the way through high school.
Okay.
And so those kids play in leagues, and the summer league is 10 weeks long. And during the school year, we operate leagues every season.
Right.
So every spring, fall, winter, and summer, we have leagues operating, and the kids have an opportunity to play. It's not like an AAU or travel league, or you don't have to be the best player. It's almost like people say, that's the B league. But I said, it's something for everyone.
For everyone
so
to
that
participate.
if kids want to participate, they can participate.
Of course.
As well as baseball. We recently started working with Buffalo Public Schools to offer volleyball. So we have volleyball leagues as well. But then we have our full-day summer camps, which we were just talking about with the little ones. So from 5 to 12, we have 2 full-day sites where the kids get breakfast, lunch, field trips. We actually have a field trip tomorrow. They're going to Niagara Falls. So they just started today, and they're already going on field trips. So they're they're excited. They're like,
they're active.
We had a year or two off for COVID, and we're trying to catch up. Okay. And that's the biggest thing with summer learning. You don't want the summer to go by and not have that time to really, really, really catch up. Yeah. Our kids are a little behind, and usually when we have the summer off, there was already a summer slide academically. Right. And teachers would spend from September to November catching up from the previous year. Right. So the goal of those summer camps and the partnership with Buffalo Schools and Say Yes is to really make sure that our kids are continuing their literacy skills. We enroll them all in the Mayor's Summer Reading Challenge. So they have an opportunity to, read their 5 books, do their 5 summaries. And we just want them to make sure that they're connected in whatever we do academically. So everything we do, especially in the summer, is academic focus and based. So even if it's soccer or basketball or anything like that, we have a vocabulary word of the day. We want to make sure even the field trips are all educational to make sure that we're not engaging in that summer slide and those kids have the opportunity to learn.
Right. And even the teens learn, because you mentioned before we started recording that you do the financial literacy for the youth that you are employing, because we talked about how important that is. Y'all, I used to blow my summer youth check immediately. So how important is that financial literacy piece for youth coming to work for the first time?
It is huge.
Yeah.
So we have a program called Youth Opportunity Connect with our teenagers, and it's in partnership with Bank of America. And so they have financial workshops. They actually have to do a budget. So what are you going to do with your first check? Let's budget it out. How much should go into savings? How much should go, how much should you spend on clothes? How much you spend on, recreation, other things? And so, really having those conversations early on so kids can just make better choices. Right. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. But it's different if you know all the choices that you make will affect. Unless you're going to work throughout the school year, you want to be able to have your money kind of spread out a little longer. And especially if you're saving to go to college or saving up for a car, we want to make sure that the youth have an opportunity to understand what budgeting looks like and what they should do with their money.
Right, equipping them with that information, right? And a lot of them maybe weren't exposed to that information either in their home life or whatever. So everybody has different spending habits. The other thing I wanted to ask, with the summer program having started and obviously the summer youth having started, is there opportunity for folks to still join the summer program? And if not, what are the usual windows to apply for the summer program or the summer youth and things of that nature?
So our full day summer camps are full. They're full with waiting lists.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
And they fill up pretty quickly, usually April of every year.
Okay.
So they got to get on it early. And so usually people start emailing like February. When is it coming out? The same thing with the Mayor Summer Internship Program. Those applications come out in February and they finalized this year, March 31st. So you got to be early on in the game.
Right.
For those kids who are doing other things during the day or maybe in other programs, we also have some programs that kids can still join. We have a Play Streets program, which is so cool. It's one of my favorite programs. It's in the evening. So it's like 4 to 6, 4 to 7, and it takes place in parks. And the premise behind Play Streets was basically to get kids to come out, meet the police officers, and have community engagement with law enforcement, and to also have fun. So we launched the program during COVID in 2020, and it was, so the world shut down in March, and we were in June launching this program out in the parks, but the goal was to bring the play to you. You don't have to worry about transportation. We come into a park in the area, the city, where you can get to, and then we were giving out free sporting equipment for kids. So they would get their own basketball, baseball, hula hoop, jump rope, things that they could do at home to promote wellness and fitness.
Right.
That was the biggest piece. Get kids moving. They're in house. Get them using these parks. I mean, Buffalo has some beautiful, beautiful parks.
Absolutely.
That we don't utilize as much. So trying to get families out. And a lot of times we were hearing from families is that, well, the park isn't safe, which is a big piece of having the law enforcement there. So we do a canvassing in the neighborhoods that we're going to be in. We go knocking by door to door. We're going to be this week in Schiller Park. So they'll be coming around and knocking and saying, hey, come out. We're going to do a community kickball game. We're going to set up the park and have all these different stations, soccer, basketball, volleyball, and just have fun.
Right.
And have fun and meet the police officers that are walking around in the neighborhoods and get to know them, name the face and be able to just have some fun in a safe environment.
Right.
And so that's one of our most popular programs, and it's completely free. We give out the equipment always. We always have a healthy snack as well. It's in partnership with Independent Health. But we just have fun. And every week we go to a different park, which is pretty cool. And we do that program all year round.
All year. So it's not just a summer thing.
No, not just the summer. So we do it twice a week during the school year, and then 3 times during the summer. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're in the same location for 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
So we have them come outside. So we'll be in Schiller Park over there having a good time, and we'll have them come outside and just enjoy having, who doesn't like kickball?
Kickball's the best. That is a classic. You have to play kickball. I feel like I met some kids recently who never played kickball. They never played.
We always run into kids and we do all the backyard games. Steal the Bacon. Have you ever played Steal the Bacon?
Yes, of course.
Red light, green light.
Exactly.
What time is it, Mr. Fox?
I'm like, y'all not playing this anymore.
Yes.
But I don't think kids utilize going outside. Like maybe it is the fear of the parents. Like it's not safe for you to play outside, because when I was younger, it was the rule. The street light come on, you got to come and eat dinner at least. But as long as and then really even with the street light coming on, it was just be in front of the house, but you could still stay outside.
Right.
And it's just changed a lot, you know. I'm wondering what your opinion is on that, on like versus back in the day and now, and what's the solution? How do we get kids to go back outside? How do we do that?
I think it's just more engagement. What we've seen over the past couple of years, Play Street started in 2020, 2023. We've been outside for 3 years, and what we see most of the times we're asking families for feedback. What did they think about it? Why did they come out? Sometimes that first day they just look out the window, but by the second day they coming out, they bringing their chairs. Yeah. We try to get the parents engaged too. So it's not just about the kids, but if the entire family is playing volleyball, you have an entire family that's getting healthy together.
Right.
And this area, we have the highest rate of obesity. We have the highest rate of mental health issues among young people. All of those things things are attributed to how much you move and how much you stay active. How, if you're more active, you're less likely to have, some mental health issues. Right. You're less likely to be obese. So it's making sure that we have a healthy community and not just, healthy mentally and physically. Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing is getting them out. And I think people just have to feel comfortable and safe. The police officers really help. It's a group of net officers, and the kids love them. They are fantastic. And they have a natural knack for what they're doing. They're officers who wanted to be part of the neighborhood engagement team. Right. So it's something that they wanted to do to give back to the community, and it shows. Yeah. And the kids, the more they talk to them and the more the parents talk to them, the more they begin to kind of break down those barriers and be able to talk to them. And then they start talking to them, even during kickball, they start talking to them about other things in the neighborhood. Right. And so getting that intel and information is great because we want to make sure that the neighborhood is safe. Right.
And how big is the net team? I'm wondering how many police officers are there and, who's getting involved?
It depends. Yeah. It could be a couple. Yeah. It could be up to 12. I mean, in the department, I believe there's about 12. Okay. But sometimes depending on what's going on, because you'll see them out at all sorts of events. Yeah. Block club events. Yeah. So they kind of spread themselves around depending on what's going on. National Night Out, they'll be out. Yeah. So they're kind of assigned. If something happens, they could be pulled to go different places. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they'll always make a roll through to make sure that they are a part of Play Streets, to make sure they're a part of Game Changers. That's another program people can still register for. And that's on Saturdays. It starts July 22nd. So in a couple Saturdays from now, Maston Park will be hopefully hundreds of kids to have a chance to play some basketball, do some drills and skills, and have some mentoring. And this is an opportunity for people in our community, even people like you, who would like to give back and are thinking about ways, because all of us as adults, I mean, we can talk to a young person. It only takes a few minutes. Yeah. And it's fulfilling and it's rewarding. And oftentimes, I ask people and they look at me like, me? You want me to come talk to? Yeah. I only work at the bank. I'm like, but that's good.
They need to know that.
They need to know that.
And that's an option.
Right. Yeah. Or I only do this. So I'm like, why do you say only? You work and you provide for your family. Exactly. And so it's an opportunity for any adult to have in contact with a teenager at any point in time. So we ask folks to come out and just offer words of wisdom, support. We call it the mentorship hour, but it just gives you an opportunity to kind of talk and say, this is what my life was like. These are some of the choices I made. These are some of the good things. These are some of the not so good things. Right. But oftentimes those talks, you never know, they could touch a child's life and change their whole outlook on what they want to do. I mean, you just never know. Absolutely. So offering our opportunity to chance, our community the chance to give them that opportunity to talk to young people is really important.
Absolutely. I mean, it's about kind of widening the lens of their influence, right? Because sometimes you're stuck in your neighborhood, in your window, you think there's only certain options. When I was younger, I thought you could only really be a doctor, a lawyer. You don't know all the jobs that are out there, all of the different opportunities. And there's people in your neighborhood working in those things. So I think that's great, the exposure. The other thing I was going to say is I know the NET team has worked a lot on like gun violence prevention and things of that nature. I think the events that you're doing are already kind of built-in community gun violence prevention type events. But I'm wondering, especially with the recent news and, the killings of young people that have just been happening since really the pandemic started and even before, how important is it for us to have these community spaces and really try and stamp on this issue? How do we resolve it,
I think there's a lot of ways we can do it. Yeah. But one starts with, just grassroots community, people who care. Yeah. I mean, you've got to engage the adults and people that care. Yeah. I mean, young people make decisions every day. I had the opportunity over the weekend to attend Mother Eva Doyle. She gives away a scholarship every year in honor of her late husband, and she's been doing this 14 years. And she had 6 young people who came out on a Saturday. It was nice on Saturday, but they came out on a Saturday, and they were recipients of her scholarship, and she gave them little nuggets that were priceless. And I'm like, those opportunities to be able to have a room full of adults tell these children how special they are, how they are going to make a difference, I think young people have to feel that we are proud of them and that we want to empower them to do the best. You know, not that we're always looking down and be like, you know, this morning I have a couple boys who showed up and they had on hoodies. I don't know what it is with teenagers and hoodies. I'm like, it's like
They're
90
hiding.
degrees.
I
Is
know.
it air conditioning stuck in there? I don't know how it is, you know. You know, and it's just what they do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I accept them for who they are because each one of them is, I don't lump them all together.
Right.
And I want children, our kids especially, when I say our kids, our community kids, to see that we care and we love them and we support them.
Yeah.
And if they need something, they can come to us. And I think a lot of kids don't know that. They don't feel that outlet from any adult. And I smile at every kid I see on the street and how are you? And they look shocked like, oh, you speaking to me?
Yeah.
But I think if we did more of that as a community to uplift our young people and to make them feel like they matter, we'd be in a much better, a much different position. And I think, you know, Buffalo is headed that way.
Right.
It's just that, you know, every day is an opportunity to be that person and to tell our friends and family, be that person, be the example of speaking and saying good morning and how are you? And, you know, telling our young ladies they look beautiful and telling our young men that we're proud of them. They need to hear that, even from people they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so. I just think that a lot of people don't hear that. I think a lot of youth are treated almost as vermin lately. You know what I mean?
Or annoyed. Like I'm annoyed by seeing you.
It's like they're a scourge. We don't want them in the mall. We don't want them anywhere. And it's like if you just push them into those dark places, that's where they're going to go, right? And I love what you said about engaging the parents and adults because at the end of the day, they are the gateway to the youth that are in their lives, whether it be their nieces, their nephews, or their own children. And letting the adults in the area know of these programs, because I think, like you said, we work a lot in community services and things, and we know what all the resources are.
Right.
My whole Facebook, I try to reshare everything I see so that people can, you know, see it. I just think there's so many good programs, and you'll see it only like 10 people attend, 15 people attend. So I think it's great what you're doing. I've seen Maston Park when y'all put that on. It looks like back in the day sometimes when the boys had their white tees and stuff. Yeah. So I think that's awesome. So just to recap for everybody, because I want to make sure they know when and where to show up.
Right.
So what's upcoming in like the next 2 weeks that people could show up to?
So the easiest thing is buffalopal.com.
Yeah.
Our website has a calendar on it. It keeps you up to date, really easy to navigate, where they can go and register for those programs that are still open. Huge. If they're a social media person, we have Facebook, Twitter, we have Instagram, so they can follow us on social media to keep up. We even have a text system. So if they go to our website and at the top it says, you know, text if you want to keep up with the programs, you want to let us know when something new comes out, they can do that as well. So there's so many ways to keep in contact to figure out what's going on if all else fails. And if all else fails, you know, just show up to a park. I'm sure that we'll be out there. But the easiest thing is buffalopal.com. For the Play Streets program, you can show up on the day of and register on site. So you don't have to pre-register for anything. Those programs, Play Streets and Game Changers, are completely free. They just have to show up. And oftentimes they never know who else will show up. We've had some special guests in the past, especially for Game Changers. We've had some people show up and kids are like, what? Is here? So it's nice to be able to have those surprise moments, and even our culminating events. Sometimes they don't know. It's like, ooh, everybody gets pizza today. We're like, wow, we get pizza. So that's a cool opportunity too.
No, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you came and joined us today.
She's like, don't forget about a couple other programs.
What other? We got some other games we're doing. Wait, hold on. What else are we playing?
We offer free golf clinics and tennis lessons in the park. So this morning, I was at the McMillan Courts, which is right off of the 198 by Delaware Park. So you'll probably see a bunch of kids out there. But we're still registering kids for tennis as well.
Wow.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, we have tennis. And then on Mondays, starting next Monday the 17th, we'll have free golf clinics. So we usually have a couple hundred kids out at Delaware Park. So both of those programs take place at Delaware Park. And we're still enrolling kids in those programs too. That's
wonderful. And they need pre-enrollment for that though. Like, can they not just show up that day?
They need pre-enrollment, but we're rolling enrollment. So they can continue to, We don't want them to hold them back from the program because they got to enroll before they start. So if they do it beforehand, even if it's the night before, we can still accommodate them.
And they don't need equipment. They can just, you guys provide equipment?
We provide everything.
See?
So we have tennis rackets, we have golf clubs, we have everything. And the good thing about the golf clinics is that we have the golf pros, and that's in partnership with the First Tee as well and Encore Golf. So we have some pros that are out there showing them how to, learn how to play golf. And the same thing with tennis. So all of our tennis instructors are level 1 tennis certified. So they've been trained, which is a great thing. And when we talk about teens and workforce development, we keep a lot of our kids 14 all the way up. When they turn 21, they still have a job with us. They will always have a job with PAL as long as they go to school, they do what they're supposed to do. If they want to come back and work as coaches during the year, and we have quite a few who are in their 20s, who are in college, who are home for the summer, who are working for us, they'll always have a job with us.
Oh, that's awesome. And I want to encourage community, especially for the golf and the tennis. There's such barriers for people of color in those sports.
Yes.
We could have the next Serena and Venus or Tiger Woods here in our community.
That's a gateway to education, too.
There you go. It's all about opportunities for community. Thank you so much, Nekia, for coming and representing Buffalo PAL today. I think this is an amazing resource for the community, and I hope our listeners take advantage of the opportunity. This is Dejia James with Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, uniting over 365 organizations working to build a better Buffalo. Join us next week where we will discuss new developments at the Michigan Street African American Heritage Corridor. It's The Public Good, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. on Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 a.m.